Regulatory challenges. When considering data roaming regulations, it is important to keep the following in mind. 1. There is no single price per MB. Price differ per service being offered. This means regulations at a price per MB can have an impact on the business model that operations use. This is not only the cost for roaming data services but also for national data services. Regulations data roaming can have an impact on the voice roaming regulation. The regulated voice eligible rate of 0.30 is equivalent to 0.60 per MB rate in case of a VoIP service. 2. The market uses on data roaming are extremely high bills while roaming limited user of the services because of high rate compared to national data user. 3. The main user relates to services renaissance high volumes in a limited time period. For services like for instance BlackBerry, this does not seem to be the cause. 4. Price regulation may not deal with all market issues in a situation when customs are not aware of data volumes consumed. The common GSM band is Europe are in 900 MHz and 1800 MHz ranges. GSM 1800. Globally, there are other spectrum bands applies for GSM. GMS 450 in the 450.4 by 457.6 MHz uplink paired with 460.4 to 467.6 MHz downlink or 478.8 to 486 MHz uplink paired with 488.8 to 496 MHz downlink. GSM 850 in the 824 to 849 MHz uplink paired with 869 to 894 MHz downlink. GSM 1900 in the 1815 to 1910. MHz uplink. Pirate with 1930 to 1990. MHz downlink. GSM 1900 is the spectrum that is uplinked in the United States. For UMTS, an extension band in the range of 2500 to 1690 MHz in available for application. States in Europe. It should be noted that SSPA but also LTE apply adaptive modulation, meaning that depending on the radio link properly, a best fit optional modulation will be explored. For instance, for SSDPA, adaptive switching in between 60 QAM and QPSK takes place if the radio link properties deterioration. Overview of technologies. Spectral efficiency for radio systems can be expressed in the number of bytes per second that can be conveyed per unit of frequency. The spectral efficiency is expressed in bit by S by Hz. For example, if a system transmits data at a speed of 15 kbps in a spectrum with a bandwidth of 200 kHz, the spectral efficiency is 0 by 25 bit as Hz. It defines the efficiency for the frequency spectrum to be used for data communication. In the evolution of mobile communication, the spectrum efficiency is developing as illustrated in the following tables. Relevant regulatory framework. General. Under the 2002 regulatory framework, roaming service were potentially subject to regulation. In this framework, Market 17 was identified as the horizontal market for international roaming services. In the communications survey, a serviced recommendation on relevant markets adopted on 17 December 2007. Market 17 is no longer identified as a relevant market susceptible to ex ante regulation. In the period preceding the adoption of the remind regulations, it was communicated that the 2002 framework had not provided the regulatory outriders with sufficient tools to take effective and decisive action with regard to the pricing of roaming services within the community. This led the European Parliament and Council to adopt a regulation specific for roaming. In adopting the regulation, European Parliament and Council was of the opinion that retail and knowledge roaming markets exhibit unique characterizes which justify exceptional measures which go beyond the miscellaneous offer which available under the 2002 regulatory framework. The 2002 regulatory framework. The 2002 regulatory framework creates the possibility for national regulatory authorities NRAs to impose ex ante obligations on operators designated as having significant market power in markets in which there is no effective competition. Of course, in addition to this, the competition authorities have the possibility to address the competitive failures within certain markets on an exports basis. Market 17 concern the market for wholesale international roaming services. No retail market for international roaming services has been defined as a relevant market. This is due to the fact that the roaming services at retail level are not perceived independently, but constitute only one element of a broader retail package perceived by customers for their home provide. The roaming regulation. The regulation imports obligations for voice roaming tariffs at both the retail and wholesale level to protect the interest of remaining customize. The main reason for imposing retail obligations was that the decision markets were of the opinion that the reduction is wholesale prices due to negotiation had not been sufficiently reflected in lower retail prices and was thus not being passed on to the consumers. Although the primary objective was to lower charges at a retail level, it was concluded that advising the level of the wholesale charges was also necessary to prevent the disruption of the orderly functioning of the community-wide roaming market. The Euro tariff was set at a level to guarantee a sufficient margin and encourage competitive roaming offerings at lower rates. The regulatory approach was intended to ensure that retail charges for roaming provide a more reasonable reflection of the underlying cost involved in the provision of the service. For the wholesale rates, the mobile termination rates were used as a benchmark. For the retail measuring which operations can charge on top of the wholesale retail operations should be able to cover all specific roaming costs at retail level, including appropriate share of marketing cost and handset subsidies, and be served with an adequate residual to yield a reasonable return. The regulation applies to postpaid and prepaid for all mobile operations, service provided and mobile virtual network operational MVNO. The regulation also introduced obligations concerning the transparency of retail or reaches to the end customers. Often customers were not aware of the tariffs charges to them when remaining abroad. The regulation now obliges operations to send an SMS when the customers arrives in a country, explicitly informing the customers on the price per minute. Moreover, the customers must have the possibility to receive additional tariff information for of charge. Framework items relevant for this data remaining study, taking into account the considerations in the regulatory framework and the regulation adopted for voice roaming services. The following elements are identified as relevant when studying the market of data roaming services. Services offered versus barrier technology used. This is explained in Character 4 on technology and Chapter 6 on services. Cost elements involved in roaming data services are identified on Chapter 30. Traffic steering groups and alliances and IoT. Negotiations will be explained in detail in Chapter 8 on the wholesale market. Substitution of services is part of Chapter 9, as well as a general description of the retail and wholesale market, where there will be an exploration of those elements in more details in this study. Consumed while remaining and are not aware of the price plan they are in, including the billing increment used and the number of data servition the service generates. 5. Current retail data prices at the domestic level might not necessarily reflect future cost levels. This means that current retail domestic data retails might not be the right benchmark when considering regulation of data roaming rates. 6. Some operations might be in a different position for a cost perspective because of the underlying technology being used, because of the level of utilization of the network, and because of the data roaming volumes. 7. Small operations and groups might be in a different position than large operations and groups when negotiating eligible rates with preferred and non-preferred parties, and in translating there into an attractive retail data roaming offer. Number 8. Currently, the underlying data roaming horizontal rates limit some of operator in bringing attractive offer to the market for services generating high volumes. When improved eligible rates are negotiated, it can be expected that some operations will improve their retail data roaming rates for high volume services, making sure that we generate more volumes and or reference, and that the services is competitive with Wi-Fi services offered when abroad. Number 9. Customers have more alternative available, such as Wi-Fi or a second mobile provided for data services that is different from where provider for voice services. Number 10. Defining a price level for regulation will be difficult when looked upon from a cost perspective. First, because there is little experience when data cost calculations, and secondly, because of the relatively small current volumes and of the potential cost difference between different operators.